Let's talk about the most disturbing TV shows ever to mankind. But first, could you follow my account on Roblox? I'll appreciate it. Do you know that there were a TV show banned in Mexico? That TV show was called Mimi y los Amiguitos. I'll show you a clip of it.
This Mexican kids show vanished because it traumatized a lot of children. It was called Mimi y los Amiguitos, Mimi and her friends. This show aired in the 2000s, however there was only 3 episodes because after those 3 episodes it was completely gone. Mimi y los Amiguitos was meant to teach morals, but something went completely wrong. One of the shows ended with a creepy puppet saying, "No hay salida, solo silencio." There's no exit, just silence. Parents complained that their children were too scared to sleep, and some of them were too scared to even speak. They say that the final episode ended with a drawing of a dark tunnel saying, "She's in there, she's gonna get you." Another one said, "She's still inside, waiting." Canal 9 pulled the plug and no one ever found the episodes. Some believe it was a mind control experiment for little kids, but it wasn't confirmed. One of the creepiest things about this is that there's some parents that supposedly claim that this show still airs only if their child is watching the TV.
Wait, what? That's so scary. Like, what do you mean? Kids are too scared to sleep. Even. Speaking to. I am literally shaking from that. Next. TV show to air is called Courage, the Cowardly Dog. Now, you might be wondering, how could a kids show be scary? Well, let me show you a clip.
These are shows we watched as kids that are actually terrifying, part 1.
Up first is Courage the Cowardly Dog. I watched this show a lot when I was a kid, and I bet a lot of you guys did too. But I never noticed how disturbing and creepy it was. This show was extremely weird, and it definitely wasn't made for kids.
Return the slab. What? Return the slab, or suffer my curse.
What's your offer?
This night you will be visited by 3 plagues, each worse than the last. Return the slab.
If you didn't hear what he said, come back to the slide. Which is actually scary. I'm shaking from that. Next is Peppa Pig. Another kids show. How could it be scary? You think it's a show all about pigs, right? Well, wrong. Look at this video.
This is the lost episode of Peppa Pig that was never meant to air. The episode starts like normal. Peppa and George are outside, standing near a muddy puddle. Everything looks fine, but there's no music, no laughing, just silence. Peppa jumps once, then stops. Mid-play. George stands still too. Neither of them move. The camera doesn't cut. A long pause. Peppa slowly turns her head toward the camera. Her face looks normal at first. Then she smiles. Too big, too wide, and she just holds it. George doesn't react. He just stands there. Another long pause. Peppa says, "That was funny." No sound follows. No laughter. Just silence. Her smile doesn't go away. It stays. Unmoving. George suddenly disappears. No transition. No sound. Just gone. Peppa doesn't look surprised. She keeps staring at the camera. Still smiling, then she takes a small step forward. No movement shown. Just closer. Her eyes look slightly off now. Not normal. She leans forward a little and quietly says, "Why aren't you laughing?" The screen glitches. For a single frame. The field is empty. When it comes back, she's closer again. Still smiling, still staring. Then, "Did you do that?" The screen cuts to black. No music. No credits.
What in a Peppa Pig? Why did Peppa do that? Hopefully this was fake. 'Cause if it were real, I will never show this to my kids. Next is regular show. This is so crazy that kids shows might be disturbing.
This is one of the most unsettling episodes of regular show. So this episode is called Hello Governor. So this episode starts with Mordecai and Rigby doing a movie night. And they were doing suggestions on what genre to watch. And Rigby said, "Why not a scary genre?" But Mordecai was like, "Bro, come on. You can't resist scary movies." Because like Rigby gets so scared easily. But like Rigby insisted, so they watched the movie called Egmont Note Bar. And the movie that they're watching is basically, it's just a British taxi car driving and like hunting people down. But while they were watching this, Mordecai was like not scared at all. And even was like saying like, "Bro, this movie was cheesy and all that." But like on the other hand, Rigby was like all paranoid watching this. So after the movie ended, they both decided to go back to sleep. And while they were sleeping, Mordecai was like sleeping normally, having a nice sleep. But like on the other hand, Rigby was like suffering. Bro was having nightmares about the movie. So yeah guys, Rigby's nightmare was disturbing Mordecai's sleep, so Mordecai decided to help him out. So what do you guys think he did? He wanted him to get desensitized, so they started watching the film again. Mordecai was forcing him to watch his film again, and let's just say the next day it didn't work. So what does Mordecai do to help his friend again? He buys a taxi car for Rigby to go inside and take a joyride to show Rigby that nothing's gonna happen. Like taxi cars are not bad. But as they were driving the taxi car, the British taxi came out of nowhere. And in that moment, Rigby's heart dropped to the ground. Bro was so scared, so he got out of the car and started running. But the British taxi car was like catching up to him, to the point that Rigby got like trapped, and the taxi driver came closer and closer to him. But in that moment, Rigby decided to have the courage to fight back. So Rigby started beating the freak out of it. But here comes the plot twist. There's no plot twist without a regular show episode. You know what I'm saying? That is that the British taxi car is actually a costume that a guy is wearing, but it's not an ordinary guy. It's a guy that works in the movie store. And the reason the movie store employee was trying to like stalk them and like trying to like get to them is to tell them that they're like overdue on the rental movie. And guess the movie title. And the movie is the Elf Governor movie, the one that they watched in the beginning of the episode and Rigby got scared of. Yeah guys, that's one of the most unsettling episodes of regular show.
Why does kids shows have to be scary? Like, I think I'm getting scared of kids shows now. I'm gonna keep thinking about these stuff.